Now we're going to move on down to the public comments. Technically, we got two people signed in to talk. They want to talk about the bridge, or bridges, and that's technically not on our agenda tonight, but do we have a commissioner that would want to recognize one?
I didn't leave.
Okay.
Well, I recognize Ketron Bailey sitting there.
Okay. Come on up, Ketron. Before we start on the bridge discussion, let me preface it with a few comments that might answer some questions that are out there. First of all, people in that area are worried about the bridge being closed. The county doesn't make that decision. The state, TDOT, makes that decision. And right now there's no plans or indications that they have any plans that they're anywhere near closing the bridge. The bridge has had the same 10-ton rating since 2017. That's been 7 years. Now, you might say, why didn't we do something about it before now? Well, let me tell you that the county there's two lists that the state has. They released two bridge lists. The bridges on the first list are considered by the state to be priority, and the bridges on that list have to be taken care of before those on the second list. Currently, Hawkins County has 5 bridges on the first list, but Goshen Valley Bridge is on the second list. So we would have to go through the first list before we got to the second list for any state bridge money for that. The county gets between $175,000 and $250,000 per year from the state to take care of our bridges, and if you divide 15 million by that, we'd all be underground before we got that money that way. The weight limit of 10 tons for vehicles with 2 axles has been in place since 2017 and has remained the same for inspections in 2019, 2021, and 2023. Now, we've had some discussions with TDOT so far. They don't have any intentions of granting the $15 million it would take to replace the bridge. But the idea of federal funding was thrown around, and we're looking at every possible angle to get money before we have to come up with some as a county. There is a program from the federal level called the Federal Bridge Investment Program that I'm looking into, and they do provide funds in that kind of quantity for bridges. We just have to apply and see if we're accepted. So there's a lot of falsehood floating around about the bridge, that it's going to fall down any minute. It's not. If it was going to do that, the state would have closed it a long time ago. We're looking at some ways to ease the traffic on it, but it takes a while to get all this stuff in place. So all that said, Mr. Bailey, you've got 3 minutes, sir.
Thank you. I was called, I guess because I've got 20 years in transportation, and I had to deal with bridges, overpasses across the whole United States. When I heard the meeting, first thing I heard was, well, we got to sell bonds. That's not answer for this one. Nobody in that whole meeting said we need to call our state representative, Gary Hicks. Gary Hicks can't figure out why everybody wants to leave him out of everything. Me and Gary was talking at that time, actually. And that's the first person this county needs to call is Gary Hicks. He's our state representative. He does a great job down there. But 2, people don't know how. I was sitting there watching, and I actually went up there because I got friends that live across that river. Anytime you put 4 vehicles on there, you've already busted your 10-ton weight limit. 10 ton, 4 vehicles, you got it. Then I heard the people make the stupid comments. How about putting bigger signs up that says no truck drivers, no 18-wheelers? You know why 18-wheelers go on that road? It is not a non-truck route. When they're using a GPS, it comes on this right here, and most of them do not buy a high-dollar GPS. It will take them from Bailton, coming across, up beach, over and up Goshen Valley. Now, when you get to that bridge, and I don't care how big a sign you got flashing, they're going to come. I heard somebody say, well, it's mostly young drivers. No, it ain't. It's 21 to 75 or 80. They don't pay attention to the signs. Trust me, I've dealt with them all. 95% of them will not pay attention to signs. Does anybody know where the Dragon is down in Merl? 11 miles of switchbacks. Big flashing sign, probably a 10 by 10 or if not bigger, says turn around now, 11-mile switchbacks. This week alone, 2 rotator trucks had to go in there and carry them back out there because they don't pay attention. And somebody said, well, super dollar. It don't matter if it's dollar store, whatever. If it's a truck, if it's not listed as a non-truck route, they're coming. They don't pay attention to it. A truck will weigh, a semi weighs 80, up to 80 ton. That's what a semi weighs. You've got your drives. That's at the front of the tractor. That's 12,000 pounds. Then at the back of the tractor, you've got 2 axles. That's called your tandems. That is 34,000 pounds. That's 17,000 pounds per axle. Then you go back to your rears. That's 2 more axles back there. 17,000 per each one of them, equaling 34, puts you to 80,000 pounds with weight. Now, a school bus, a 72-passenger school bus, gas, dry. That's no oil, no fuel in it. 24,837 pounds. If it's a diesel, it's 26,218 pounds. A boxed ambulance, empty, is 22,000 pounds.
That's your 3 minutes. You need to wrap up, sir.
And a UPS truck is 22,000 pounds empty. We're breaking the law. Anytime if you're going to put more than 2 vehicles on that bridge at a time, you're over your 10 tons. I mean, 2 to 3 vehicles, that's it. It's got to come, and this has been, when I started looking into this, 2015, the Rogersville Review wrote a big article on it. 5 bridges in Hawkins County, bad. And one of them that was due for state, said it needed to be replaced, was that one there. There's some more our road superintendent knows about in the county. Guess what? He talked to some of them back when he was running.
Need to wrap
there is barrels sitting in front of the hose on them. Has anybody got any questions, any of the you all?
Thank you. Let's see. Commissioner Barrett, did you want to recognize someone?
Yes, Mr. Mordecai. If the lady's in the audience, I'd like to recognize a lady by the name of Deanna Patterson.
Come on up, Ms. Patterson. You've got 3 minutes.
Appreciate the opportunity to speak. I spoke with Mayor DeWitt and with Mr. Barrett last week. I actually live across that bridge. Now, I understand that there's a lot of innuendo and rumors going around. We're going to close the bridge tomorrow. I know that's not going to happen. What I'm going to tell you about is the impact this is already happening. When this little bootleg audio got out to us, it was kind of a shock, but it's my understanding our EMS vehicles are no longer going to cross our bridge. Personally, I've survived a heart attack, a Widowmaker, and from what I understand, Sir Gowensville Station 2 is 22 minutes reaction time, and that's to the end of our valley. To come to my house, which is about 5 miles from the end of the Goshen Valley Bridge, it's going to be 32 minutes. Do you think I'm going to live that long? I don't think so. If somebody's having a stroke, I don't think so. And I say this as a 23-year practicing nurse practitioner, currently with the VA system. Worked in the community for a really long time, trained in this community for a really long time. The other thing is the impact on our Goshen Valley Fire Department. Functions quite a bit on our donations. They can no longer cross the bridge. It's my understanding they're going to have to put in a fuel tank, and they're going to have to fill the fuel tank. That's going to delete our funds by about $8,000 to $12,000 per year, and that is funded by people who are on a budget. If something happens that even if we take this to 1 lane, we're waiting for signs to be put up. What I heard in that audio video or that audio recording, we've got to put up signs to cover our rears. And if you can't, if the signs aren't going to deter people, then what's the point? We've got to keep the traffic off the bridge. It's also my understanding with our school buses no longer running across that bridge, the students are going to miss 1 hour of instruction. Most of those kids that live down in that valley depend on a school breakfast. It's about the only thing they've got until lunch. And when they go home, we don't know if they have anything else. You've also got kids down there with disabilities who have state IEP plans. And in those plans, you've got mandated instruction times per hour per the week, and you've also got transportation plans that are outlined that have to be guaranteed. If you violate those, that is a state and a federal violation. Not sure if you're aware of that. We've got 9,500 people across that bridge. I've been coming across that bridge several times a day for the past, well, since 1994 when I moved to Goshen Valley. Most beautiful place, I think, to live down here. I'm a little disappointed that there's been no transparency on this, and since March the 11th, when this became clear to our commission, there was not an alarm sounded. Well, we hate to go into debt. That's what I heard. Well, no, I get it. The bridge is probably not going to fall right now. But you got to do something. And if you're going to put the signs up, then enforce it. Find a way. Not sure how to do it. If we put it on GPS, can we not take it off GPS as a truck route? Is that not a possibility? No?
You got 15 seconds.
All right.
That's non-DOT. That would be the Department of Transportation of the United States government to take it off the non-truck route.
All right, but it's something to consider. And personally, I know that we are sounding the alarm in Goshen Valley to call all of our state people as well as our federal people that we've elected, just like we elected you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to let Jason Merl speak to the notion that EMS is not going to cross that bridge.
What I'd like to point out is there has been no discussion of us not crossing that bridge. We have put out some advisories to try to limit actual physical work on that bridge, like if there's an MVA on that bridge, try not to park the ambulance and limit the amount of vehicles that are on that bridge. But as far as crossing that bridge, we have not discussed not crossing that bridge.
Okay.
So we will continue to cross that bridge until someone tells us not to.
Thank you. Thank you. And I also want to address a notion that Mr. Bailey said that Gary Hicks hadn't been contacted. He was the first one I contacted. So I contacted.
I didn't say had not been contacted, but I know you did. I seen it where you said it on the news.
Yeah.
But when they made the statements, we need to sell bonds and everything, nobody on the commission said we need to contact Gary Hicks. I was on the phone with, actually at that time, my brother got through watching it.
This is, although it's not new information, it's new information. And we're doing the best we can to get it taken care of. This is not something we're going to sweep under the rug. We will get something done about the bridge one way or another. Josh Gillum, you've requested to speak.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. My suggestion would be this information has hit us all pretty quickly, and I understand that previous commissions or whoever was aware, this is my first time being on the commission, I was not aware. There's a ton of stuff going around about this whole ordeal. My suggestion would be to the chairs of the Public Safety and the Road Committee to set up a joint meeting together to meet with these department heads of the different agencies, and let's make sure that the truth is communicated very clearly to everybody at the same time, and then discuss action plans from there. I understand that you're working the back channels, Mayor, but in my opinion, this affects obviously transportation in a lot of ways, but that the emergency services portion is very alarming, and I think that a sense of urgency around that and calling a joint committee meeting would be a positive thing to get everybody on the same page. So nothing to do tonight, but to those who chair that committee, that would be my suggestion.
Thank you, Commissioner Gillum. Next, Commissioner Barrett.
Thank you, Mark. This Goshen Valley Bridge issue that's before the committee, the commission coming up and stuff, basically that started with me, okay? That bridge is in my district, and those people over there are in my district. So the issue I have with the bridge is very concerning to me. We, as it's been stated before, we've had issues with tractor trailers, heavy truck stuff going across the bridge, and I've done some research on it, and I'm not a bridge inspector, I'm not a concrete man, I'm not an iron worker, but I ran across a report National Bridge Inventory, Tennessee Inventory and Appraisal Report, which I referenced in the Road Committee meeting. I've got 2 reports tonight, and briefly, the first report indicates that the date of the last regular inspection at this time was at May the 28th of 2019.
There's been 2 inspections since then, Commissioner Barrett.
Okay.
There's a new report, just like what you've got in your hand.
Okay. I won't dispute that, but the report that I've got, it shows a sufficiency rating of 16.8 on May the 28th, 2019. It shows a weight posting on this particular report of 2 axle vehicles being 10 tons and a weight posting for 3 or more axles of 18 tons. It also indicates a bridge replacement. The sufficiency rating on this particular report was 16.8. The thing kind of got my attention about it. Sufficiency ratings information that I found on internet consists is a 55% a structural evaluation, 30% obsolescence of design, and 15% is based on its importance to the public. That report, like I said, was 16.8 sufficiency rating. Now, you go up then until the next report that I've got. It says that the date of last regular inspection was May the 22nd of 2023. On this particular report, it indicates the weight posting for 2 axle vehicles is 10 tons. It also references that the weight posting for 3 or more axles is at 10.4 tons. The sufficiency rating on this particular report is 6.0. So going back to the way they evaluate it, sufficiency rating was 6.0. Roughly 55% of that is based off of a structural evaluation. If you take that in consideration, that puts you down to about a 3. But, I'm not a bridge inspector. I do think that it is quite concerning that the sufficiency rating dropped from 16.8 in 2019, and now it's down to 6.0. But, I'm the one that brought up the bridge report, the concerns for the bridge, and based off of what I saw, I thought that's what I needed to do. The bridge does concern Goshen Valley, made their decision to do what they did. The school system, the transportation director, Kevin, I can't remember his last name right off, I apologize for that, but I spoke to Kevin and he asked me for my recommendation or what I thought about the bridge. And, like I said, I'm not a bridge inspector. The only thing that I can do is refer you back to that report, and the school board would have to make their own decision as they saw fit. But I did what I thought I needed to do regarding the bridge, and I stand behind the report that I have referenced, and I stand behind my decision to bring it out to the public.
Thank you, Commissioner Barrett. We do appreciate you bringing that up. And again, we're working on it. We'll do something about it just as quick as we possibly can. But the wheels turn a little bit slow. We'll make them go a little bit faster, hopefully, now that we know all this. But we are going to do something about it. Matt, do you have anything to say about the school, what he referenced?
We're running alternate routes right now. We did our first route, series of routes. There's 2 72-passenger buses that run that area, and 1 special needs bus to address the concerns about special needs. That is continuing across because it falls under the weight limit. The other 2 were ran this morning and resulted in the students being to school about 10-15 minutes late. Not all students ran, so we're going to study that across the week and see what those routes through Christian Bend add time-wise once we get every student accounted for, but it wasn't as bad as originally estimated this morning.
Okay.
We are looking at several options, maybe adding a bus from a smaller route, combining, and then sending that bus over to divide that into thirds if we have to run the alternative routes, which would decrease the overall time. But there is no decision right now definite. We haven't talked it over with the board, but we are studying that this week as far as running those alternative routes.
Okay, thank you. And while we're doing school board things, I appreciate
Breakfast is provided regardless of what time students get to school.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to recognize a couple members of your board. We've got Chris Christian, who is chairman of the Hawkins County Board of Education, and we also have, I forgot your name. Debbie Shedden. I knew it like I knew my own. Debbie Shedden, who's been a longtime member of the Board of Education. We appreciate you. Vice Chair. We appreciate you both being here tonight. Okay, next to speak, Commissioner Palmer.
Director Hickson answered my question already.
Okay, good deal. Any further discussion on the bridge issue before we get into the real agenda? Okay, let's move on.